Hey guys, welcome back to my garden. So today I want to talk to you guys about landscape fabric and what is it good for, what is it not good for, and what sort of experience do I have with it. Well, first of all, you can see that I'm standing in a high tunnel right now, and we have landscape fabric all inside of this high tunnel. Now this has been here for around 3 years, maybe 3.5, something like that. And so we did install landscape fabric all on the floors before we installed this. The landscape fabric has been here a while and it does have constant moisture on it. Now we are in zone 5A and we do have a lot of, well, we have winter, tons of snow and all that good fun, but you would think that, oh, there's a ceiling above and so there wouldn't be any problem with the moisture on that fabric, but that's not true because there is so much moisture that comes up from underneath that there's actually moss that starts to grow on my landscape fabric. Why don't you guys check out what I'm talking about here? Okay. Let's look closely at this landscape fabric. Now you can see here that some of the stuff will easily come off and some of it doesn't. It's kind of just crusted on here. And I did sweep this, so there was some moss, actual moss that was growing on here. And you can see like algae or something, whatever, is growing here. This is what's going to happen to you if you have this landscape fabric that is in a high tunnel at any rate. All right, so you have to check out this other landscape fabric that I've got. This stuff has been here for a couple years now, which is a year younger, let's call it, than this crazy high tunnel stuff. Check this out. This looks way better than that other stuff. And it's the exact same brand. It's the same quality. It's just outside instead of inside. Not only is it a year younger, but there's no, there's no algae, there's none of that. I'm thinking that it just has to do with the fact that there is more wind out here and more air around this, and it's just not as soaking wet as inside of there. Once that water gets underneath there, it's kind of trapped, right? And yeah, it gets super hot in there, and you would think that it would all dry up and that moss would die, but it just doesn't. I don't know, but I do have some other that I want to show you. All right, now check out this stuff. You see the different color of the stripe that's on it? When you are looking to buy this stuff, don't look for this color stripe. I'm thinking the stripe colors is what also denotes if it's good or bad, if it's commercial quality or not, because look what we got going on over here. You see this stuff here is the same age as this here, and you can tell a huge difference in the wear. I'm going to be replacing this stuff way sooner than I'm gonna have to replace this over here. The reason that I bought this stuff was that it was much smaller. I only needed a little strip. I didn't need some big honking piece, but just keep in mind that when you buy it, if you're buying this stuff for walkways and floors and all of that, that you're looking for something that you don't have to keep installing and reinstalling and all of that over and over again. Okay, so go for the commercial grade. Make sure you do that. All right, guys, so we're in a different part of my garden here. This is a garden that has some strawberries, blueberries, and I used weed barrier, the fabric around 20, maybe 15, 20, I don't know, years ago. And I want to show you what happens over time, because I'm not sure if you guys thought about this before, but if you mulch with any sort of thing, it could be wood chips or grass or whatever it is, all of that mulching is going to turn into soil eventually. And so if you use weed barrier and then you put all of this mulch stuff for years over top of it, then what you're doing is you're actually burying that fabric underneath all of that soil. Layers underneath there. And so that is basically what I've done. I'm going to show you that even after 15, 20 years or so, that's still there. That stuff is still there. Now, does it matter to you if it's there or not? Well, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. For me, I've got these strawberries, like I showed you guys. I've got these strawberries growing here. And you know the strawberries, they don't have that huge of a root system, so they're not going super deep. But let me show you. Let me show you how deep this is. I've got this hole here, and I'm going to show you. Now look how deep this fabric is under here. Now, do you see this? When I go like this whole area is now lifting because that fabric is underneath there. And that stuff, like, can you see it? It's black, so it matches. I'm not sure you can see it, but that stuff is not degraded at all. Now, is it? Not at all. That stuff is stuck under this whole thing. And if you look around here, you can see, oh, look at all the weeds. Yeah, there's plenty of weeds. So it's not really doing a weed barrier job anymore. Maybe the first year that you put it down, sure, it's great, okay? But then after that, it isn't so great anymore, is it? Not really. So if you really want weed suppression in a perennial garden or in any garden that you want the stuff to degrade, use cardboard. Use 1 layer, 2 layers, maybe even 3 layers. I've done that before, of cardboard, and mulch it. Mulch, mulch, mulch. Okay, to try to get rid of those weeds out of there. And then it's much easier. The stuff degrades, just disappears, no worries, no problems, okay? But when you have this kind of stuff, as long as you don't care about it being under there forever and ever, then hey, go ahead, you can use that. But perennial gardens really is not the place to use any of that fabric. But there is another place you could use it, and that is if you have a garden where you're putting rocks in. Maybe you want to get rid of all that mulch. Every year that mulch is just a pain in the butt, doing it all the time. So instead you've decided you want to put rocks in there. Okay, not a bad idea. And you could use that barrier stuff. Use it, because as we can see, it's not going to go away. It's not going to degrade, so that's okay. And then also the rocks, they're not going to break down into soil or any of that. So the weeds aren't going to come in there because of the mulch. The weeds may come in there for other reason later on, here and there. You know, you will have some weeds that do come up in between the rocks. But at any rate, it won't be the rocks breaking down. Okay, so good places to use the landscape fabric. Walkways, high tunnels, under rocks. That's it. That's it, folks. You know, other than that, don't waste your money, don't waste your effort, and also you won't be happy in the end if you have to then go and try to rip it up and try to maintain it. So yeah, I don't know. What have you guys experienced? Have you had this issue like me, or did you only use it where you should use it in those areas we discussed? Hey, you guys let me know, and see you next time.